Stop for just a moment, my child. Before you face another long, shapeless day with that quiet ache underneath it, the one that whispers you are not needed anymore, that your useful days are behind you, that you are just taking up space now. Stop, just for a little while, and sit with me here in the quiet. You do not have to be useful in this moment. You do not have to earn your place, or prove your worth, or be anything other than what you are right now. It is only you and me here, and I, who have watched you carry this feeling of being surplus for far too long. Have something I have been waiting to say to you. You did not come to these words by accident. I know it feels like you were only passing the time, filling another empty hour with something. But I drew you here. Something in you, worn down by the sense that you no longer matter, that the world has moved on without you, that there is no point to your remaining days, has been crying out for a voice that sees worth in you still, that will not measure you by what you can produce. So stay. Do not get up just yet. Let me speak to the place in you that has begun to wonder whether you matter at all. I know what you carry, my child. I have seen the slow ache of feeling like your purpose has run out. I know the roles that are gone. There was a time when you were needed, when the days were full of people and tasks that depended on you. You were the one who worked, who provided, who ran the household, who raised the children, who others came to, who held things together. Your sense of who you were was built on being needed, on having a place and a purpose that required you. And one by one, those roles have wound down. The work ended. The children grew and left. The people who once needed you need you less, or not at all. And now you wake to days that do not require you, and you hardly know who you are without the roles that defined you. I see that, my child. I see how disorienting it is to no longer be needed in the ways that once gave your life its shape. And I know the days that have no shape now, the long, empty hours that blur into one another. There was a time when your days were ordered by purpose, when there was always something that had to be done, somewhere you had to be, someone counting on you. Now the hours stretch out with nothing in them that requires you, and one day looks much like the last, and you have the quiet, sinking sense that the day would go exactly the same whether you were in it or not. That monotony, that feeling of drudgery and emptiness, of time passing without meaning, is its own kind of suffering, and I do not make light of it. I know how heavy an empty day can feel when you have forgotten what your purpose is. And I know the feeling that the world has passed you by. The world has sped up and changed and moved on, and you feel out of step with it now, as though it belongs to the young and the new, and you are a relic of a time that is gone. The way things are done now, the speed of it, the noise of it, the things everyone seems to understand that you do not. All of it can make you feel like a stranger in your own time, left behind on the shore while the world sails on without you. I understand that ache, my child, the loneliness of feeling that your era has ended and you are simply lingering past it. And for some of you, I know it is your own body or mind that will no longer do what it used to. The things that once gave you purpose, you can no longer do. The strength is not there. The hands shake, or the legs will not carry you, or the memory slips, and you watch yourself able to do less and less. And it grieves you and frustrates you and frightens you. To have the will to be useful and not the ability is its own particular sorrow. And I see it in you. And I do not look away from how hard it is. And I know how you compare yourself now to the person you used to be. You remember who you were when you were strong, when you were capable, when you could do anything that needed doing. And the contrast with who you are now is its own daily grief. You catch a glimpse of yourself, or you reach for something you cannot do anymore, or you try to remember something that will not come, and you mourn the person you were. It can feel like watching yourself fade, like the real you is somewhere back in the past, in the strong years, and what is left now is only a diminished shadow of that person. That grief, the grief of losing yourself a little at a time, of saying goodbye to who you used to be while you are still here, is one of the loneliest sorrows there is. And I want you to know I see it fully. But hear me, my child. The person you are now is no less yourself, and no less loved than the strong one you remember. You have not faded in my sight. I see the same precious soul I have always seen, whole and known and treasured, behind every limitation the years have brought. And I know perhaps the most painful turn of all, that you, who spent your life helping others, now find yourself the one who must be helped. The one who provided is now provided for. The one who cared for everyone is now the one being cared for. And there is a deep ache in that reversal, a sense that you have become a burden where you used to be a help, that you take more now than you give, and a shame that comes with needing care after a lifetime of giving it. I want to speak to that shame very directly before I am done, my child, because I see how it weighs on you, and it is built on a lie. And I know the quieter wound beneath that one, that you are no longer asked. There was a time when your opinion was sought, when decisions waited on your judgment, when people came to you for counsel because your voice carried weight. Now, you watch decisions being made around you and for you, sometimes without anyone thinking to ask what you think, as though your years of wisdom have simply stopped mattering. You feel yourself becoming invisible, optional, talked over and past. A presence in the room that others move around rather than turn to. And in your most honest and painful moments, you wonder whether anyone would even notice if you were gone, whether the world would so much as pause. That is a deep ache, my child. The ache of feeling that you have quietly slipped from being someone who counted to someone who is merely tolerated. And I do not dismiss it. But I will tell you now what I will say again. You have never once been invisible to me, never optional, never talked past or moved around. I have never stopped asking for you, never stopped wanting you, never stopped counting you as utterly necessary to my heart. You matter to me as much today as on the day you were strongest, and more than you will ever know. And underneath it all, I know the quiet, frightening thought that visits you in the still hours, that maybe your life is essentially over, that you are just waiting now, filling time until the end, that there is no real point to your remaining days. It is a heavy thought and a lonely one, and if it has come to you, I do not want you to carry it by yourself in the dark. Let me speak to all of it now, gently, beginning with the thing underneath everything else. The lie that has done you the most harm. Because here is what the world taught you, my child, and it was never true. That your worth is your usefulness. The world measures a person by what they produce, what they can do, who needs them, how much they contribute. And so, when the producing slows and the doing fades, and fewer people need you, the world quietly concludes that you are worth less. And worst of all, you have begun to believe it about yourself. But hear me, because this is the truth that everything else rests on. That was never my measure of you. I did not love you because you were useful. I did not set your worth by your productivity. And I do not love you 1 ounce less now that you can do less. Your value to me was never something you earned by what you did, which means it is not something you can lose by what you can no longer do. You were precious to me before you ever accomplished a single thing, when you were a newborn who had produced nothing at all. And you are exactly as precious to me now. If you could never do another useful thing as long as you live, you would be no less treasured by me, not by the smallest degree. Let me show you how I actually feel about you, in my own words. My word says, "The Lord thy God in the midst of thee is mighty. He will save. He will rejoice over thee with joy. He will rest in his love. He will joy over thee with singing." Hear that, my child, slowly. I do not merely tolerate you. I do not keep you around out of obligation. I rejoice over you. I delight in you. I sing over you. And notice what I am singing over. Not your accomplishments, not your usefulness, not what you produced in your strong years. I am singing over you, the person, the soul I made and love. A loving parent will sing over a sleeping infant who has accomplished nothing, who has produced nothing, who is loved entirely and only for being. That is how I feel about you, this very day, in your weakness, in your quiet, in your sense of having nothing to offer. You are sung over. You are rejoiced in. You are delighted in by the God who made the stars. That is your worth. And no amount of age or weakness or uselessness can reach it or reduce it. And consider what kind of God would write that about himself. I did not say I would put up with you or that I would keep you on out of duty until your time was done. I said, I sing. The God before whom angels fall silent. The God who flung the galaxies into the dark and holds every atom together by his word. That God sings over you. The way a mother hums over the cradle of a child she cannot stop looking at. Not because of anything you have done, simply because you are mine, and I love you. And the sight of you moves my heart to song. If you could see how I look at you, my child, you would never again believe the lie that you are worthless. You would see a father who cannot take his eyes off the child he made, delighting in you, not for your usefulness, but for your very existence. Glad, simply glad that you are. And to the one who feels their strength and their usefulness fading with the years, hear the promise I made long ago. My word says, even to your old age I am he, and even to hoar hairs will I carry you. I have made, and I will bear. even I will carry and will deliver you. Do you hear what I am telling you? I do not abandon my children when they grow old. I do not lose interest when the gray comes and the strength goes. I made you, and I will carry you, all the way to the white hairs and beyond them. When you can no longer carry yourself, I will carry you. You are not the work of my hands that I discard when it grows old. You are a child I am devoted to the very last breath and past it. The God who made you does not throw away what he has made simply because it has aged. Hear the whole shape of that promise, my child, because it covers your entire life. I have made, and I will bear. Even I will carry, and will deliver you. From the very beginning, when I knit you together before you drew a breath, to this present season of gray and weakness, to the moment I finally carry you home, it is all one unbroken work of my hands, and I do not abandon any part of it. I carried you when you were too small to walk. I will carry you when you are too weak to stand. The same hands that made you are the hands that hold you now, and they will be the hands that carry you across the last threshold into my presence. You have never once been outside my carrying, and you never will be. The whole length of your life, from first breath to last and beyond, you are borne up by me. If these words are reaching the worn-out place in you tonight, my child, do not let them slip away when the empty day closes back in around you. Stay with me a little longer, and if it would steady you to hear my voice like this again, on the next long day when the feeling of being useless presses in, you can follow along so that you always have a place to return to where you are reminded of your true worth. I am not asking you for anything, and I never will. I am only offering you the truth about who you are to me, and a place to come back to when the lie grows loud. Keep it close. Now let me speak to the lie that your purpose has run out, because I have not retired you, my child. Whatever the world may think, my word says of those who are planted in me that they shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing. Still, my child, hear that word. Still bring forth fruit. I did not say the fruit of your old age would look like the fruit of your young and busy years. It may not. The harvest of your later seasons is often a different kind of fruit, and frequently a sweeter and deeper one. There is the fruit of prayer, which moves heaven itself, and which the frailest saint can offer from a chair or a bed when they can do nothing else at all. There is the fruit of love, of a kind word, of encouragement given to someone who needs it. There is the fruit of wisdom, passed from your years into the young who are starving for it without even knowing. There is the fruit of a faith that shows the watching world how to grow old without bitterness, how to suffer loss without losing hope, how to face the end with peace. And there is the fruit of simply enduring, of remaining faithful, of bearing witness by your very steadfastness that I am worth trusting all the way to the end. Do not measure your fruit by the world's kind of harvest. Some of the most fruitful seasons of an entire life are its final ones, when the busy doing falls away and what remains is pure trust, pure love, pure nearness to me. That fruit is real. I see it, and it is precious to me beyond what you know. And here is something the busy and the strong almost never learn: that you are uniquely placed to discover. The value of a life is not in its harvest, but in its nearness to me. And nearness is something that often grows richest precisely when the doing falls away. When you were strong and busy, there was so much noise, so much activity, so many demands, that nearness to me had to compete with 1,000 other things. Now, in the quiet, in the stillness the world calls useless, there is room for a closeness with me that the busy years could not hold. Some of my dearest friends have been those who, in their last and weakest seasons, with nothing left to do but be with me, came to know me more deeply than they had in all their strong and productive years. That intimacy is its own fruit, the sweetest of all, and it is offered to you now in a way it never was before. The world looks at your quiet days and sees emptiness. I look at them and see a field cleared at last for the richest harvest of all. Let me tell you about a man who refused to believe his best days were behind him. There was a man named Caleb who, at 85 years old, stood before the leader of his people and said, "As my strength was then, even so is my strength now. Now, therefore, give me this mountain." At an age when everyone expected him to sit down and fade quietly into the background, he stood up and asked for a mountain to take. A hard and dangerous thing to do for me, a giant-filled territory that younger men feared. He did not believe his purpose was spent, and I honored that faith. And I gave him his mountain, and he took it. Now hear me carefully, my child, because I am not telling you this to say that you must go and conquer a mountain, or that your worth depends on still being strong and able. Some of you cannot, and that is no failure, and I will say more about that in a moment. I tell you Caleb's story to shatter the lie that purpose ends at a certain age, that I am finished using those whom the world has quietly set aside. I am not finished. I have called the old and the weak to my greatest works again and again throughout all of history, and I have often done it precisely so that everyone watching would know the strength was mine and not theirs. Think of Moses. He spent 40 years as someone important, a prince. Then he spent 40 more years as a forgotten shepherd in the back of a desert, an old man, certain that whatever significance his life might have had was long behind him, with nothing ahead but more sheep and a quiet death. And it was then, at 80 years old, when he was utterly convinced his useful years were over, that I met him at a burning bush and called him to the greatest work of his entire life, the work he is remembered for to this very day. His most important years came after he had completely given up on having any. So do not be so certain, my child, that your purpose is spent and your story is told. I have a long and faithful history of calling people right at the moment they have decided they are finished. And notice this, too, about Moses. Those 40 quiet years in the desert, the ones he surely counted as wasted, as the long fading of a life that had amounted to nothing, were not wasted at all. I was using them. I was shaping him in the silence, forming the humility and the patience and the deep knowing of me that his great work would require, none of which he could have learned in a palace. The years he thought were empty were the very years I was preparing him. So when you look at this season and see only emptiness, only waiting, only the slow passing of time that amounts to nothing, do not be so sure you know what I am doing. I am often most at work in the seasons that feel the most idle. The desert years are not wasted in my hands. I am preparing things you cannot see. And to settle your soul about your future, hear this promise. My word says, being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. I am not finished with you, my child. I do not begin a good work in one of my children and then abandon it half completed because they grew old. The work I started in you, I am still doing, and I will carry it all the way to completion, to the very day you see my face. Your life is not a book I have set down unfinished and walked away from. I am still writing it. I am still shaping you, still working in you and through you, in ways you may not even see, right up until the moment I take you home. You are not in some forgotten epilogue, waiting for nothing. You are in a chapter I am still writing with great care. So let me speak now to that hardest thought, the one that says you are just waiting, just filling time, that there is no point to your days. I want to push back on that with all the love I have, my child. There is a point. You are still here because I still have you here, and I do not keep my children on this earth for no reason. I have never once forgotten to call one of mine home at the right time. If you are still here, it is because your part in my story is not yet finished. Your days are not empty to me, even the ones that feel emptiest to you. Every prayer you pray reaches my throne. Every small kindness matters. Every act of trust. Every moment of patience in suffering. Every soul you touch, even in the smallest way, counts in my economy far more than you could imagine. And on the days when you truly can do nothing at all, when you are too weak or too tired or too unwell to do a single useful thing, hear this and rest in it. You are still doing the most important thing any creature can do. You are being loved by me, and you are learning to love me back. That is never, ever a wasted day. And let me tell you of a hidden ministry that the world knows nothing about. One that may now be more available to you than ever before in your life. The ministry of prayer and of presence. From your chair, from your bed, from the quiet of your room, you can do something that shakes heaven and changes lives a world away. You can pray. You can hold up your children and grandchildren before me. You can intercede for the lost, for the sick, for your church, for a hurting world. And I hear every word. And I move in answer to the prayers of my faithful ones. And no one on earth may ever know that it was your quiet, hidden prayers that I used to change everything. Some of the most powerful people in my kingdom are old saints whom the world has forgotten, praying in secret in rooms no one visits, moving my hand across the whole earth. That could be you. The hidden, world-shaking work of prayer is not behind you. It may be the greatest work still ahead of you. And beyond even that, there is the ministry of simply being present, of letting people be near you, of receiving a visit, of offering a listening ear and a peaceful presence to someone who needs it. You do not have to do great things to do holy things. You only have to be available to me where you are. And to the one who feels the shame of needing care now, after a lifetime of giving it, let me lift that shame off you. You are not a burden. To need help is not to be a burden. It is to be human, as every one of my children is. You spent your years pouring out for others. Will you not now let others have the gift of pouring into you? When you allow someone to care for you with grace, you are not taking from them. You are giving them the chance to love, the very thing you gave so freely all your life. Receiving care humbly is its own kind of grace, and it is no shame at all. I myself, when I walked the earth, let others serve me, wash my feet, provide for my needs. There is no shame in being cared for. There is only love, flowing now in the other direction. So here is how I would have you carry these days, my child. The ones the world says are surplus, but I say are still mine to fill with meaning. First, let your worth rest where it belongs, on being mine, not on doing. This is the hardest unlearning, and the most important. You spent a lifetime being valued for what you did, and now you must learn, perhaps for the first time, to receive your worth as a pure gift, not a wage. Practice it. When the lie says you are useless, answer it. I am loved because I am His, not because I am useful, and that can never be taken from me. Let your value rest on the unshakable fact that I made you, and love you, and sing over you, and not on anything you can or cannot do. Second, offer the fruit you can still bear, and do not despise it for being small. You may not be able to do what you once did, but there is fruit still within your reach. You can pray, and prayer is the most powerful work there is, available to you no matter how weak your body. You can love the people around you. You can speak an encouraging word. You can pass your hard-won wisdom and your faith to someone younger. You can bear witness simply by how you carry your final seasons. That I am faithful. Offer what you have. It is more than you think, and it is precious to me. Third, stay open to purpose, even now, even late. Do not assume, as Caleb and Moses could have, that your useful days are entirely behind you. Remain available to me. Ask me, even now, even as you are. Lord, what would you have me do here, in this season, as I am? You may be surprised what I still have for you. I am not in the habit of leaving my children without purpose for their remaining days. Fourth, invest in the ones coming after you. This is fruit only the old can bear, the passing on of wisdom, of faith, of stories, of prayer, to the young who need it desperately, and often do not even know to ask. My word speaks of the aged one who lives on so that he may show my strength to the next generation, and to everyone that is to come. Your years are a treasure of experience and faith. Pour them into the young. Pray for your children and your grandchildren, and the generation rising. There is great purpose in that, and it is purpose reserved especially for those who have lived long. And do not sit alone with the lie. When the feeling comes that you are useless, that you are just waiting, that you do not matter. Do not let it grow in silence and isolation. Bring it into the light. Speak to your church, to people who love you, to those who can remind you of the truth when you cannot hold on to it yourself. The lie grows strongest in the dark and the alone. Let others speak truth over you when your own grip on it slips. And if that heaviness, the sense that your life has no point, has grown into something darker, my child, if you have begun to feel that you would be better off gone, that the world would not miss you, then please, please hear me. That is a lie from the pit, and you must not face it alone. Reach out, tell someone, your pastor, a person who loves you, a doctor, a counselor. Let them help you carry this. Your life has worth that you cannot feel right now, but that is no less real for your not feeling it. And there are people who want to walk with you through this darkness. You were never meant to bear such a weight by yourself. Reaching for help is not weakness. It is exactly what I would have you do. If these words have found the worn place in you tonight, my child, do not carry the feeling of being useless alone and in silence. When this is done, tell me one thing you are still grateful to be here for, however small, or simply write below, I am still here, and I am His. And let the others here be reminded, along with you, that no life is surplus, that not one of my children is taking up space they have no right to, that every soul still breathing is still loved, still sung over, still mine. I gather every one of those words. Not one of them goes unseen. So lift your head, my beloved. I know how long you have felt set aside, and how heavy the sense of having nothing to offer has become, and how the world has made you feel like a relic of a time that is gone. And I am not asking you to feel useful, or to go prove your worth, or to be anything other than exactly what you are tonight. I am only asking you to let me love you as you are, and to let your worth rest, at last, on me, who has never measured you by your usefulness and never will. You are not surplus to me. I have not set you aside. You are not a burden. I am carrying you to the gray hairs and beyond. You are not finished. I am still completing the good work I began in you. And you are not without purpose. I have fruit for you to bear that only your season can produce. And I am still writing your story with my own hand. Rest now. Put down the weight of feeling useless. Put down the shame and the drudgery and the lie that your days have no point. And let it be enough, just for tonight, that the one who made you delights in you and sings over you and carries you and is not nearly finished with you yet. You do not have to earn your place tonight. You do not have to be useful or needed or strong. You only have to let yourself be loved, just as you are, by the one who has loved you since before you ever did a single thing. Lay it down, the whole heavy lie of your uselessness, at my feet. I am strong enough to carry what you cannot, and I treasure you beyond anything you have ever done. The peace that the world cannot give, and the world cannot take. I give to you tonight a peace that does not depend on being useful, that can rest even in weakness and stillness, because it rests on being mine. Rest gently. Let your worth rest on me, and know, all the way down in the deepest part of you, that the one who made you delights in you still, and carries you still, and is not finished with you yet, and has fruit for you to bear in this season that no other season of your life could grow. When you wake tomorrow into another day, the world says you are not needed for. Remember what I told you tonight. You are not useless. You are sung over. You are not a burden. You are carried. You are not finished. I am still writing your story. And you are not without purpose. I still have fruit for you to bear. Lift your eyes, my beloved. The feeling of being useless does not get the last word over your life. I do, and the word I speak over you tonight is not surplus, and not finished, and not without worth, and not without purpose. The word I speak over you is mine. You are mine, and I delight in you, and I am carrying you all the way home. Carry these truths into the daylight with you, my child, and let them answer the lie whenever it returns. When the empty day stretches out before you, say, "My Father is still writing my story, and this day is not wasted in His hands." When you feel set aside and unneeded, say, "I am sung over by the God who made the stars." When your weakness grieves you, say, "He made me, and He will carry me, even to the gray hairs and beyond." When the thought comes that you are just waiting, say, "I am still here because He still has me here, and my prayers still shake heaven." The lie of your uselessness has had a long time to dig its roots in you, and it will not surrender all at once. But every time it rises, you have the truth to answer it now, and a God who delights in you, and fruit still to bear that only this season can grow. And you no longer have to sit alone in the dark, believing you do not matter. Rest in that, my child. I am with you. I delight in you. I am with you,